Wow!
What is up, guys? We are back with a brand new episode, and today we got a special guest, Vikar from Vikar World. Make some noise!
Thank you so much for having me once again. This is my second time. I feel like the setup is all different right now. Upgrade. This is the mic that plays right? This is way smaller when I first came. This is screwed.
And we also have Miss Pam, Miss Pam, Miss Pam, who is a very successful business lady, and she's here to give her opinion on today's topic. Andrew Tate, is he good or bad? Your opinion. Let's go.
Let's go.
Okay, so let's ladies first lah. You must always give.
I went at the first time. I'm waiting first.
Never mind. Today it's always we are gentlemen, so we always give ladies first. So, in your opinion, how do you come about knowing about Andrew Tate? Who is Andrew Tate?
How did I know Andrew Tate? YouTube.
Okay.
I think he was in some kickboxing championship with Jake Paul or Logan Paul or I don't know lah. I think he was trending on Twitter because somebody accused him of human trafficking, sex trafficking. So that's how I know of Andrew Tate. I don't watch his content, so that's it.
How about you, Vic? What's your opinion on
Me, I think Andrew Tate blew up. I think last year or 2 years ago on TikTok. Every time you scroll, you see and his controversial opinions and stuff like that. I never knew of him. I didn't know he was a fighter and all that. None of that stuff. Through TikTok, I think TikTok really pushed his content, and that was when I started knowing about this guy. Then the next thing you know, he's like one of probably the most influential person on the face of the planet as of now.
Correct. He's the most Googled person. And number two, you know, US they have a platform similar to YouTube. It's called Rumble. The moment YouTube cancelled him on YouTube and then he moved to Rumble, 50 million shifted to Rumble. Rumble overnight became $1 million company.
Madness, man.
Just because he shifted his channel. That's crazy. How about you, Lucas?
So I also found out about YouTube, but actually more from my friend. My friends were the first one to know about him, and then they were telling me like, hey, dude, you should watch this guy on TikTok and things like he spots the most funniest bullshit ever. Like it makes sense, but at the same time it cancels out, right? So like okay, then I came across the TikTok and I'm like okay, now I understand who they're talking about. Yeah, so it was from TikTok, but I didn't know that he was a kickboxer as well. You know, I just knew him for that internet persona that he had, being misogynistic, you know, that's what they say lah, kind of. Yeah, so from there I found out.
So, just think whether you like the guy or you don't like the guy. Why do people hate him? Why do people like him? And then share your own opinion. I'm just going to share first. I'm a big fan. Andrew Tate, Top G, yeah, he's my guy. I almost said Top G, like no chopping, no human beings will harm in this episode.
I don't hate him, but I don't like him either.
Why not?
You should not do it.
What's not to like?
I really don't hate him because it doesn't affect my life. So why would I
Fair point.
hate him?
Fair point.
Very fair.
So, but I don't like him either because I think he's a very hardworking person. He has some very good qualities in him. He's hardworking. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing.
Correct.
Yes.
He does controversial topics because it gets engagement. So he's smart. He's really smart. But there's also this arrogance in him, which for me, I personally don't like. Personally, maybe it works for people, but it's not for me. He's quite arrogant. It's not. I don't hate him.
No, you're not going to hate me. You're not going to get cancelled.
So, yeah, and he does spew out a lot of messages that is misogynistic in nature. And as a public figure, I feel like he has a responsibility to whatever messages he puts out. He has some sort of responsibility because he is a public figure. So this is my opinion.
Okay. For me, I've always drawn to controversial content creator.
That's why you joined us.
Huh? Probably that's what I mean. You know what I mean? Like since like for me, I feel like these kind of people stand out, and I wouldn't say 100% support everything he says. There are things that is very questionable, but what I respect about him is how he stands for himself, how he defends himself, how he debates. I think those characteristics of not just Andrew Tate, probably anyone who does it, how he puts himself out there, how he markets himself as a business owner, how he makes money. I think those are things that I look up to, right? How in 1 year suddenly he blew up. Literally no one can do this. I've never seen anyone do this kind of stuff, right? So people like Andrew Tate, he knows how to get people talking. He's smart. He's a good marketing guy. He knows how to trigger people when he wants to. And I'm pretty sure he's doing all of these things just for his own benefit, right? I'm sure he doesn't give a fuck about it. Can I swear? I'm sure he doesn't give a fuck about it. He loves money. You can tell he loves money, he loves wealth, and he's doing it for that. Of course, he may come off misogynistic. There are things he says it can come off as misogynistic, but of course, it's at the end of the day, these are chopped up content. He did it on purpose. But for me, at the end of the day, it doesn't affect me. It doesn't affect my life. He's doing him. He's giving us entertainment. You see his Piers Morgan interview. You see his recent BBC
one, yeah.
Entertainment value at its top level, right? And for me as a consumer, those are the things that I look at, right? And I enjoy watching these kind of things. Do I like him as a person? I don't care. I don't give a fuck about him, right? That's my opinion about this guy.
Okay, thank you, Vikar, for that. Thank you for that opinion. No, but 100% honestly, I think that's what I agree with Vikar. I do not agree 100% on what Andrew Tate talks about. But the stuff that he talks about for men need to be emotionally stable. You need to work hard, build yourself up. These are messages which you need in today's time. When everyone is telling men need to be soft, men need to be like, hello and all that. No, guys got to be tough. You got to go through drama. You need to understand pain. You need to work hard, work through your issues, be tough, stoicism. These are all important building blocks to become a man, right? So I believe that whatever he talks about is partially true. There's like half truths to it, but in terms of like the other stuff, which I think is all marketable stuff, he purposely words things in a certain way that people get triggered, and the people that get triggered most are women. Women are the one, when they hear this, he says certain things a certain way, oh my goodness, he's misogynistic. But when you watch the full 4-hour podcast and then he explains his reasoning and gives his own example in terms of his mom, his dad, how they related with one another. Not just that, he's also an uncle. He has a niece and nephew, and he takes, and I'm not mistaken, he's also a father. He has a baby girl, daughter, right? If I'm not mistaken. So, honestly, he's taking care of his family. He's doing things what he needs to do as a man. But definitely he's smart. He made 400 million USD in 2020, if I'm not mistaken. So, sorry I have to say I'm not mistaken because I read this information for a long time. So I need to be clear on it. So I think the people getting too iffy about how can you follow this guy, blah blah blah. I'm a guy, I think all of you know, I always share about Andrew Tate, especially certain clips which are positive, right? And I've got hate from those clips on Instagram. But surprisingly, most of the positive messages that come on Instagram are all guys. I've had one guy share to me, bro, I'm so thankful you continue to share this kind of post because I keep following your post and it has encouraged me. So I'm like, look, you gotta, like what Vikar said, you gotta have, as a guy, you gotta have your principles and you gotta stand firm on your principles because you're not how do you define yourself as a guy, right? How about you?
I mean, I think everyone here has they follow him differently lah, kan. So, but for me, honestly, I just take whatever he says at face value lah. I don't really like, get triggered from it or whatever, like. But for me, I'm more of a consumer. I just listen to what he says and then like, okay lah, makes sense or doesn't make sense, then okay lah. But I don't go to the point where, oh my god, why are you saying this?
Yeah.
Why is it cancelled in normal? I'm not at that point lah, right? But yeah, I can see that. But for you, like, you're more of a follower, right?
Some things I can disagree, like you said some things about women and other, which I think, like if you're building a household, it's not like, hey, woman, make me a sandwich. No, if you're getting married and you're building a life together, you're building a household together, you gotta equally share the burden. Like,
No, that's not a job, woman. Make sandwich. Jokes. I'm just joking. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that.
Have you seen what happened to Jocelyn Chan? Small thing will trigger all these snowflakes, Center, finish. You will get cancer after this, bro. I can't help you.
Yeah, but I think I've spoken to you about it. I told you that Andrew Tate, he really knows how to market himself.
Correct.
Yeah.
He's a very good marketer.
Yeah, so like whatever that Vikar mentioned, like I had the same exact thought also. Like he knows what he's doing.
He knows what he's doing.
He knows what he's doing and all. So like you want to say, you can say that he's doing it on purpose.
Yes.
Yeah, because if it works, it clearly works for him. If it's not broken, don't fix it. Right. So I think that's why he decided to stick with that persona that he has.
Yeah, that's a very good. It is a persona.
Yeah.
He is purposely purporting this persona online so that he can generate views and wealth. He's using all this to actually make. I mean, even the BBC interview with him recently, the first interview after he came out from jail or whatever.
Home arrest, basically like something
He's
like home
house arrested.
Yeah.
First of all, the case, there's zero evidence. All the so-called girls, except for two of them went missing. They haven't came out and actually, they are the ones that actually filed the report and blah blah blah. Those people that actually filed the report are missing. Nowhere to be seen. And there were leaked WhatsApp messages saying that they wanted to do this to him so that they can get a Netflix deal. And that has been presented as evidence in the court. Right? Every other girl that was mentioned in the whole list of their so-called webcam business has come out and said, Andrew Tate never abused this. Video evidence of his house shows that these said people were on their phones, walking out of the house, buying pizza, walking back in, partying, drinking. Is that a persona of a sex trafficker? So until today, there is zero physical evidence that he's a sex trafficker or whatever, which I feel like this is all cooked up nonsense because Andrew Tate is such an influence to young men that in a Roman, if I'm not mistaken, a Roman writing, Art of War somewhere is written, the way you can destroy a nation is to remove all the fighting men, make the fighting men weak so that you can control. That leads us to the next topic. What does Andrew Tate refer to as the Matrix? I think you guys
I'm guessing the government, the bigger picture, right? They're the ones control. The Matrix is basically someone who controls the whole thing, system. The system, basically.
So he doesn't actually think about the Matrix movie. So it's just an acronym he gives us.
Yeah.
Okay.
To describe the entire system that runs the whole thing.
Okay.
That's what. So like I said, I don't religiously follow his videos. I only see stuff whenever it comes up on my phone. So I don't know exactly the full context as to what he talks about, what he preaches about, what's his agenda. Like I said, I don't know, I don't care, I don't give a fuck. When I see, I'm like, oh, okay, this guy Matrix, he's constantly talking about Matrix. In my head, I feel like he's just talking about the system and how the system wants to crush him, wants to crush people who speaks
against
truth or whatever.
Why do you think that people want to crush him? Is it because of him being very controversial?
Probably he's just openly talking about things that he shouldn't talk about. Probably even the whole right? Yeah. And probably with this whole human trafficking case that he's been part of, maybe he is part of the thing. Maybe he's just trying to cover up. You don't know. For me, I personally do not trust anybody on the internet, especially people with wealth. They can twist and turn any story they want. They got money to pay people. So when it comes to that case, I have no say in that.
Yeah.
I don't want to say he didn't do it.
It's a very gray area.
It's a gray area. It's not my place. I don't know nothing. I don't know the facts. My opinion is just based off what I see, the content, and how he is as a persona. That's all.
Okay, fair enough. Then, in terms of Matrix, what do you think he's referring to as well?
I'm not exactly sure because honestly, if you ask me, I don't really know much about him, and it's not fair for me to judge him as well. But I do know that a lot of people hate him now. Like you said, particularly women now. So you have to go to the root cause of why people hate him, why people disagree with him, why does he think that people are out to get him, like why? Is it because he's a very controversial person? He puts out very controversial statements out there, and some people just cannot, because it's not, like I said, it's not politically correct. And the statements that he issues, is it detrimental to the community? Like what kind of impacts does it have? So, like for me, I do think that some of the things that he says, like I said, he's a very smart person. He's a fantastic businessman. Like you say, 400 million USD. Like who does that? In a year. So who does that? Like he obviously knows what he's doing. But like you said that he puts in some triggers in there. Are those triggers
the root cause or what?
like what like? I understand it's controversial, makes you click on it, but the impact of those triggers, you see, because everyone is different. Like, okay, we are able to differentiate our feelings from that entertainment. Okay, like we know what is right from wrong. Okay, I'm not gonna get triggered by this lah. It's just like entertainment. But some people don't know. They are not us. They don't think like us. You see,
Naive.
they will take it to another level.
Easily influenced also lah.
Easily influenced.
And they will do things with those kind of messages of, Andrew Tate said this, I have to do like this. You get what I'm trying to say?
That one is a bit...
Yeah. We are able to differentiate it, like, because we know, we understand, but you understand, like, not everyone is like that. And Andrew Tate is very influential, especially to young men.
Yeah. So I think it like some people take whatever he says as like it's from the Bible lah. It's like he's the Messiah himself.
Gospel truth.
Yes. Yeah.
Because he has said things like man owns woman in a short but obviously he doesn't exactly mean it that way, but when you see a 5-second clip where he says like, God, man owns woman, see, I understand where the hate is coming from. It's a very...
And I think because of my opinion, because he puts up these kind of triggers for people, that's why people are out to get him. That's why he thinks everybody out people is trying to get him.
He's sticking off certain parties lah. I can say so lah. So that's why that
from different communities, feminists lah, LGBTQ+.
That's why you get all this censorship that's happening now.
So we live in a very sensitive world today.
Overly sensitive.
Very sensitive. So I think as a content creator or as a social media influencer, we must know what you're going to put out there. Like he's smart, like don't get me wrong. I also want like $400 million a year. But this is the things that he expect lah. These are the things that he will have to expect as a public figure, as controversial as him.
But I think then Andrew Tate wouldn't be Andrew Tate if he was too nice.
Exactly.
Yeah, he'll just be a normal random person.
Like I said, he created this image of himself in the internet. So that is what he has to face with. This is exactly what he would have to anticipate as Andrew Tate. Like you wouldn't anticipate from a family vlogger, right? Going shopping.
There are risks that comes with all this. So you assess the risk, you either mitigate it or you accept the risk. So like, it comes with the job.
I think the majority of young men like what Andrew Tate is saying because the world shoves this thing on us that we need to be soft lah, this lah, that lah. Where Andrew Tate is like, it's okay to be masculine. You know, the whole feminist movement today is like trying to cancel men, which is like
The extreme, the minorities.
no, but see, that's the thing. It is on the extreme, but it is the one that's being purported. That means the one that, like, honestly,
being shown on the media.
exactly,
Yeah.
like, it's not even like, let's take America for example, right? It's only 7% of the population that believes in the shit. Sorry. But the microscope is on the 7%. Now, when you take 7% of 330 million, let's just round it up to 10 lah, because my maths is a bit.
But you're engineer, huh?
It's freaking 33 million. So when 33 million freaking make noise, it's like, oh, this is how it is. No, it's not. It's not. So it's like when young boys see this guy who's like, yeah, I'm all about working hard, making money, take care of my woman, this and that. It's like, oh yeah, so we don't need to be soft. We can actually be competitive. And I believe for young kids, like once you're 12 to about 21, be as competitive as possible. Work hard. Look at the other guy. How is he lifting 40 kilograms? I also want to do. Be as competent as possible. If you're in engineering, like whatever you're doing, like engineering girl, lawyer girl, social media influencer, be the best version of yourself. Good thing that working hard, stoicism, competitiveness, masculinity is actually good. And real masculinity checks all the things. In fact, a person who was against him, Piers Morgan, was against him until Piers Morgan had him on the show. And then after that he was like, Piers Morgan, what was Piers Morgan's remark? He's actually good for young men. That was his remark. And in fact, the lesser version of Andrew Tate is Jordan Peterson. Jordan Peterson and Andrew Tate say the similar things. They are saying saying things in the same way but different style. Whereas Andrew Tate is a lot of bravado, a lot of machismo. It's like, yeah, I'm the man, I'm alpha.
I'm the mafia, that kind of stuff.
Something like that lah. But Jordan Peterson is eloquently sharing his point of view. Yes. And the way he shares it makes it more palatable, easier for people to swallow. But essentially the building blocks of what Jordan Peterson and Andrew Tate are saying is similar. A person that even pointed out that was Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro also was another guy that was like, hey, you know what, Jordan Peterson and Andrew Tate are saying the same thing, essentially. So people who are, how do I say it, more matured, more don't get easily triggered, more understanding of how, has a better grasp of how reality and the world works, right? They can easily just differentiate between what's right and what's wrong, right? They don't get so easily triggered like, oh, Andrew Tate said this, oh my god, I must go and find a girl and beat her up. No, that's not what Andrew Tate said.
That is a next level brainwashing, right?
Yeah, that's like, ooh, what are you talking about? No, Andrew Tate does not condone violence to women. In fact, he has multiple charities that actually donates him personally signing off checks for homeless kids, homeless women, and also helping women from sex. In fact, he has a foundation that helps women who are involved with sex trafficking and all this kind of stuff. So yeah,
Maybe his own victims lah.
Just like that. And then we say and then he makes it a CSR lah.
corporate social responsibility. Then he write off.
But I mean, in reality, there are people who do that. So
Yeah.
like, it's not shocking, right? That he might be one of those kind. But like I said, we do not know because we do not have the proof. Yeah.
And probably it's a bigger picture.
Exactly.
He's smart fella, maybe planted everything.
Yeah. He sees the matrix.
That's all our topic for Andrew Tate today. Is he good or bad? Up to you guys to decide. You guys should go out, watch all the videos and make the opinion by yourself. If you like, you don't like, comment down in the comment section below. If you resonate with what we talk about, share, like and subscribe. Thank you again to Mr. Vikar from Vikar World. Thank you for being here. Thank you for Miss Anne or Pam. Which persona you want to use now? Okay. Miss Pam. Oh, Pam. Pronouns is she, her. Correct, Thank you, Miss Pam, for being here. Remember always to keep hustling,
Keep doing the right thing.
Oh, sorry, don't cancel me.
Okay.
Don't cancel her again. Are you? She doesn't care.
Be happy. is that
Alright.
That works. Thank you guys. That's a wrap.